Madison, can somebody kill the music? Thank you. You're about 1 foot. About 1 foot. I didn't like that feedback.
This is Beach Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. America, and all ships at sea. This is your captain speaking, Mean Gene. Mean Gene. The following will be a test of the ship's whistle, the sonar alarm, the cable alarm, and the atomic attack alarm.
Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting live 100 feet from the Gulf of America. Here are your award-winning social media superstars, the hosts of Beach Talk Radio, Kim and Ed Ryan.
Yeah. Just a foot. Just a foot. That's Dan's request, not mine. She's giving you the evil eye, Dan. Thank you all for coming to Wahoo Willie's. Can we get another big round of applause for the show today that we missed earlier? Thank you all for coming. Nice big crowd here at Wahoo Willie's. A little bit of a different setup. And Kim is not here today because she worked yesterday, and we like to give her a little bit of a day off, and probably with the baby that I still haven't been able to hold after 3+ weeks. So apparently when babies are born, they sleep a lot, and this baby sleeps a lot. So, the other day they came out to lunch, and the baby was in the carriage, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll get to hold the baby. And the baby was sleeping. So when Jilly turned her head the other way, I started shaking the carriage that he was in to try and see if I could wake him up, but he didn't wake up. So maybe next week we'll get. I guess when they grow older, they don't sleep as much, right? All right, everybody. We have a different setup here, brand new microphones, and the guest of honor today is the same guest as we have every Sunday, pretty much. Oh, Howie wants to say something. Come on, Howie. Tell everybody about softball. Go ahead.
Softball
Get close to the mic, Dan.
Softball starts on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Big opening day celebration. So vote. Remember, on this time, vote 6-7.
What does that mean? 6-7.
That's all that's on the ballot. 6-7. And anyway, come out and play some softball with you.
All right.
You didn't expect me to be the surprise host today.
Yes.
Well, I'm not.
Can we get a big hand for the mayor of Fort Myers Beach, Dan Allers? All right. Dan's going to sit next to me today, and we're going to test out the microphones to make sure they all work right. We got a little setup. I told Dan not to wear his skirt, so people are looking up his skirt. Go ahead. See how we're doing with the sound.
Is it good? I feel like I should have an acoustic guitar or something.
Yeah. We'll turn it up just a little bit.
Right,
there we go. So it's nice and facing you there. And so don't be turning things like that. I'll take care of it. This is just how you do it, like that.
There you go.
There you go. Nice and close.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So before we introduce our guest host, who is not Howie, did you want to really touch base on what happened this morning so that everybody knows there's no danger on the island?
Yeah, I think you reported it pretty accurately. Just got a call from the sheriff's department this morning that they found a deceased body on the beach. There's no danger to anyone in the public. It's about all the details we have at this point.
All right. Yeah, we want to make sure everybody knows they're safe and that the sheriff's department is taking care of it. It was over by Star Island Beach Club on the beach, and nothing further to report. Most likely there won't be anything else to report on that. So, all right. It's time to introduce our guest host.
Boy, here we
She
go.
is a member of the First Family. You might know her. Her name is Megan Allers. Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Good secret.
And
well,
well, you didn't know. You thought it was
I did
Stephen
not.
Clark.
I
and
thought it was going to be Stephen Clark or
Steve Duello
Oh,
was
yeah.
here.
one or the other.
Steve and Cindy are here visiting.
I got ambushed by my own wife.
Wait, I got to turn the mic on.
Ed and I work in the background.
Oh boy.
Well, she did
Yeah,
announce it
sorry.
on the show yesterday when she came on, which clearly indicated that
I have not seen it.
you didn't
yet.
watch the show yesterday.
I didn't even watch anything.
So a couple of rules, Megan, that I need to tell you about first. You can't call him Honey on the show. He has to you have to refer to him as Dan or the mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. And
Because I'm Mr. Mayor's wife.
yes, and there are no softball
Only
questions
Publix.
allowed. So they have to be all hard-hitting questions. And I hope you did your research last night.
Oh,
So I guess I want to start off with the first question.
I am a little terrified. I'm not going to lie.
The first question I have for you is, I'm not sure I like the setup with this. Do you guys, is it?
No, I don't mind it.
Okay.
I mean, it's nice to be able to see everybody. And,
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how it
it's
looks
a
out
little
there,
to
but
get used to here.
Yeah.
like I said, I feel like you should have a guitar.
I know.
We should sing something.
The school district, the school board, the school district meeting with the, oh geez.
Oh. Is he okay? Don't move. Hold on. I'll be right back.
All right. Hold on, everybody. Madison.
All right.
All righty. All right. He's okay.
Yeah, he's in good hands.
All right.
Okay.
So the first
Where were we at?
the first question I had for you was the school district meeting with the town council is it Tuesday or Wednesday or
Wednesday.
Wednesday at 1:00, and the meeting is at the church in Bonita Springs, a neutral location. And I was a little confused about how the public comment might work if people go. Do you have any details on that?
Yeah, so everybody will be allowed to speak 3 minutes. It's been agreed upon. I've just confirmed with Will yesterday. It's been confirmed that people will be allowed to speak just like our meeting, 3 minutes.
Okay.
Obviously, we ask that you be respectful, get your point across, but be respectful. We really encourage, at least I really encourage, business owners, homeowners, children, whomever needs to come out and speak their piece. We're working very hard to save the historic building and the beach school. So if you can come out, again, I think it's important that they hear from business owners as well, because business owners have been the reason we were able to get the Sorry.
Yeah. So it's
They're the reason
yeah.
we were able to get the enrollment up.
Wednesday, 1:00 at St. Leo's Catholic Church. And I think it's on Beaumont Road. I'm not sure exactly where
Yeah.
Beaumont Road is, but if you Google Beaumont Road, you'll be able to get the directions.
I
And
think Will might be listening. If he is, if he could
Yeah.
post the address for me, that'd be great.
yeah, and the school district is sending. How is the school superintendent going to be there in addition to Mr. Ribble?
My understanding is, yeah, that's who they've. I haven't heard any different, but yeah, I think superintendent. I think their staff will be there, and then representative. not
Was there
representative, member
a
Ribble.
was there a response to the town's reply to the school board? Wasn't there a response this week from Dr. Carlin?
Well, it wasn't this week. It was, it kind of went back and forth. We did the request for the meeting. Then they came back, wanted it in a neutral site. And it went back and forth a few times, but it's all been agreed upon, a neutral site. I think I told you last week that, Denise had a little scare up in Cape Coral. So, it's, to me, it's not a matter of where the location is as much as it is that our people have to be allowed to be able to come out and speak in public comment to make sure that they hear what we're hearing.
Yeah, and I don't think the school district was going to meet with you guys if you didn't have it at a neutral location. It sounded like, at least from Rob Spicker, the spokesperson, that they wanted it in a neutral location, and they were going to pay for half of the mediator if you went to a neutral location. So it really makes sense to do
Yeah.
that. I know
Yeah,
people,
and-
you wanted to have it in the town, but makes sense.
Yeah, well, and I think this is just another example of how the town and our parents and our residents are willing to continue negotiations and continue talking in good faith to try to make sure we get the resolution that is in the best interest of everyone. So, we'll
And
do
I
what we
know-
have to do.
I know you have said, and I think this makes a lot of sense. I get it. They didn't want to have it here at the town, but it was really important for you that they are in the same room with you guys while you're having these negotiations, not through like a, disjointed process. We want those parents, we want those businesses, we want you guys as elected officials to be able to look them in the face while you're having that conversation.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was important. I've always been a fan of having conversations face to face because you get to see reaction, you get to see emotion, you get to see things. On Zoom, it's very easy to shut your camera off or,
Right.
Oh, I lost internet connection or
Yeah.
something. But when you're sitting face to face with people and you actually get to see it, it sometimes it can change the way you think. You go through hearings and stuff and you hear people's emotions and you see things and maybe it triggers something that's, wow, this is more important than what I thought.
Yeah,
So
and
that was important for me more than what the location was.
And Will did post the address. It's 28290 Beaumont Road in Bonita Springs.
Thank you, sir.
And it's going to be held in the auditorium, and the town will be broadcasting the meeting live also. So if you're not able to make it, you can watch it. You won't be able to comment. If your goal is to be at a public comment, you won't be able to comment. I mean, you'll be able to comment on our page, but nobody will see it.
Right.
But
Again,
you'll be able to comment if
we
you're
really encourage as many people to come out as,
Yeah.
if the historical building and the school mean anything to you, you should be there.
Now's the time to get in front of them.
Yeah, where do you think we are on that? Where do you think things stand in getting the school rebuilt?
Well, I don't know that it's moved anywhere. Obviously, the latest information is what we've all heard is they've started moving forward with the process to potentially razz the building, which means essentially tearing down the historic building, which is a whole different. To me, it's a whole different thing than the school. Now you've got two things going on in my mind. You've got the potential loss of a historic building that the strongest storm of Mother Nature could throw at us didn't take down, and now it's potentially in the crosshairs of human demolishment, and to me that just doesn't make any rational sense. So that's one part of it, and obviously the school. We all know about the interlocal agreement. We all understand that, and it has gotten heated probably a few times, but respectful heated. Everybody has opinions, and the school district's got to look at their side, but I think it's important to remember we've had at least two members of the school board who have publicly supported having a school on the island, including, Denise herself has publicly stated, both in public and in private, that she believes absolutely, yes, a school should be on the island. So, we're just trying to get everybody on board to see the same vision. And I think the more people we can get out there to speak, on behalf of the school. Like I said, businesses are very key to this as well. They need to hear it. They need to understand that this isn't just about numbers, and it's not just about how many kids are there. We can go back and forth with numbers all along, but you got to do what is right. And if your goal is to really have a grade A school system, you've got one sitting here on the beach. It's just sitting there collecting dust.
And I know you say that they have publicly said that they support a school on the beach, but don't you think by them dragging this out the way it has been dragged out, that they clearly are not backing what they're saying publicly then?
Well, I think actions speak louder than words, obviously. Words only mean so much, but when you start seeing things that come forward like we're seeing, it surely gives you pause, and you think something doesn't sound like what you're saying. And all we want is clarity. We're pretty simple folk here down here on the island that, we're okay with being told no. We're okay with being yes. We're okay with working with people. But what we don't like is being strung along, because then it makes people who maybe aren't following along start to say things that they shouldn't be saying because they don't understand the entire process. But you got to be honest about it. You can't say one thing and then do something else, or be completely silent about it altogether on certain things, because then minds will run a little, they'll run a little afoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's where people are getting so worked up and passionate about this, is because of the lack of response and the disjointedness that this has caused. It really does put that fear into people that they have no intention of moving forward with it.
Yeah, well, again, it's we just want some clarity. We've heard a lot of different things, and we've seen a lot of different actions. And again, I go back to, we've got at least 2, partially 3, who have supported it, but maybe not necessarily the building itself. But and I will publicly say it again, I completely disagree with Dr. Savage's testimony that you have to tear down that historical building to be able to do anything on that site.
Right.
I understand they don't want to maybe put money back into that school, but to say a comment like that without any data to prove it or any data to back it up, to me is reckless. It's not true at all. And I will challenge anyone from the school board to show me something that says you can't build a school on that property without tearing that building down. And I will show you 200 other people that'll tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say something like that, at least be truthful. At least come out and say, we don't want to put any money into that school, but we'll look at building something else. But that's not what he said. What he said is, we can't do anything or make any decisions until that school comes down, is essentially what he said. And that's not true. I've had developers and land planners tell me completely the opposite. So that's a big piece of property there. It's not a huge school. Michael Stewart was gracious enough to do something for us. If he's listening, I bet he could probably comment and say that what I'm saying is true. The ability is there. We just want to have good open communication on Wednesday to be able to come out of that. The last thing I want to see happen in that meeting is for us to walk away and we're no better off than we are here today. We don't have any answers. We don't have any solid things that we are going to move forward on, action items that we can move forward on, because right now that's kind of where we're at.
That's fair.
But
All right.
But I look forward to the conversation with them. They've been gracious enough to come down and sit in front of us, and we make a commitment to them that we will make sure it stays civil. We will make sure it stays on point. That's my promise to them, because this is something that is everybody's heated about, and they need to hear it, but they need to hear it in a respectful way.
I think I said this on one of the last shows. Now that we have a Cape Coral show, I don't think you guys realize how confrontational communities can be. I've seen it firsthand. Like, they need police protection at the Cape Coral City Council meeting. They have at least 10 police officers throughout the building, and they have people that look at the police officers with their phones and try and get them to, they try and harass the police officer. It's totally bizarre, but I've never, ever seen anything like that on Fort Myers Beach. The people has always been respectful. Yeah. They've come to meetings. They might have gotten loud at a public comment, but it's never been where you felt like somebody was going to lose their what. So I mean, I just never have seen that with anybody on Fort Myers Beach. But again, in this day and age, anything can happen. So you have to be safe. It's just and then I think I said on the show yesterday, I don't know how I got on this. You get on these Reels things on your phone and all these things start popping up. Well, there's crazy people in every town, and they attend these community meetings. And I watched one guy, he got up in front of the dais and he mooned the city council. It's like, how do you not get arrested for something like that? Like, you're that upset with something that a city council does that you're doing that in front of the public. It's the bizarrest thing, but you totally have to be safe. And I'm not saying that's why you did the other location, but you keep saying, be respectful. I think people on the beach, for the most part, are. They're angry that they're losing a school, but
well, they're very, I think and I certainly don't want to speak for everybody that's passionate. And I think that's the difference between threatening and dangerous. And our parents are passionate. Our residents are passionate. Our business owners are passionate. And sometimes that passion comes out, but it's never aggressive. It's never physical. You never feel like you're worried. They're just passionate. And I believe the school district understands that, and they see it. They've seen it so many times in their meetings that they understand that we're passionate. And I don't want to continue to rehash all the information. We all know all the stuff that's been happening to this point. We all know the numbers. We all understand all of that. But right now, to me, it's a time of action. It's a time of let's find a clear path forward for the historical building and for the kids on this island.
Yeah.
And again, I keep saying you've been there for 8 decades. It's just
so if we can move on to the second topic I would like to talk to you two about is Tuesday is election day. Which way are you voting, Dan?
Well, I'll tell you, you're not going to get an answer from me.
Either one of us.
But I will tell you, if you've been paying attention, you probably already know. But
yes, I think I do know.
It's a day that I thought would never come. It's a day that should have never come. And no matter which way you vote, you've now got the right to cast your vote.
Yes.
And I will respect whatever comes out of that. I've always respected the voice of the voters. I don't agree with how it got here. And I know Councilor King was at the delegation meeting and spoke about it. And I've spoken to our delegation about it as well. And I've made a commitment that, if I'm the one that's going up there in Tallahassee again this year, that I'll be the one making sure that, we need to make some tweaks to it. Again, I don't think it's I don't think it's something that should be abolished by any means. I think the voters should get their day at the voting booth. But I think how you get there needs to be tweaked.
One of the things Matt Caldwell said yesterday, he said he doesn't think there should even be a recall. And he thinks you vote every 2 years or 4 years or whatever it is. One of the things that people might not remember is that on Fort Myers Beach, it used to be a 3-year term. Yeah, and then they made it, at some point they decided it was too short and they made it a 4-year term.
2020. Yep.
And that was because I think the thinking was they didn't have enough time to, get the gears going before things change, which I thought was a silly argument because the House of Representatives is every 2 years and they seem to be able to figure it out. But so now it's every 4 years. And one of the things Matt Caldwell said is he doesn't think there should be a recall at all. You go to the ballot box, you vote, for somebody, and then you have another election and you decide then. But
I guess I can see his point. I haven't watched the show yet, but I can see his point. If there is indeed a sunshine violation, there is a process in place that you can go through the ethics commission to bring that to light.
Right.
Tying it to a recall to me doesn't make sense. So I can see where Matt was coming from. Again, without knowing the full context of what he said, but I can see how he got there. Yeah,
they're trying to abolish property taxes. I don't think they're going to care much about the recall statute. this coming
they do
session.
they do have a lot of things going on up there.
Yeah.
I've been up there 3 years now in a row, and it's a whole different way things move up there and how things operate, and it's just a small glimpse in how real big government actually works compared to local.
It's wild when you're up there.
Yeah, Megan got to go last year for the women. I'll let you. Her and the women's club went up there and did their stumping from door to door. So she got a good look into what it really takes. And how it's a lot of work.
Like crazy. I mean, how fast everything moves, and you are just constantly on the go, back and forth.
Can I just say one thing, kind of sidebar-ish here?
Yes.
The Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District is here, and they were here in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to be here in a matter of minutes if the Fire Control District is merged into Iona when there's traffic from season. They were here in a matter of minutes. And if this thing goes on the ballot in November, the Fort Myers Beach voters are going to get a chance to vote on whether or not they should merge with Iona. and somebody fell. He's okay. They're taking him. I'm sure they're taking him to check him out, make sure he's fine. And they were here in a matter of seconds or minutes rather. And I just want to point that out. We're talking about the legislature. One of the
Yes,
things.
thank you, first responders.
Thank you, guys. One of the things Adam Botana is trying to get on the ballot next year is a merger of the fire department between Iona McGregor and Fort Myers Beach. And the voters of Fort Myers Beach and Iona will be the only votes that matter. It's not like the Lee County voters will get a chance to vote on it. So that's just another one of those things where you really have to stay involved and know what's happening. I don't know that it'll make it on the ballot because it still has to go through the committees.
Still got a long way to go.
And it has to be signed by the governor.
And it still has a study a financial study.
It
that
hasn't
has
been.
to
It
be
hasn't
done.
been concluded yet. Yeah, that hasn't come. It hasn't been out yet. They're getting pretty close. I think it was supposed to be out in July, but it hasn't come out yet. So it'll come out. It's going to go through at the end. This goes back to again. It's if it does make it onto the ballot, it will go to the voters, and the voters will ultimately decide.
Yeah, Terry, you're not right about that. What Matt said is he said that he wished there wasn't a recall in the state as far as the legislature goes. He did not say they should be recalled if they violate some kind of law or something. If you violate the law, the governor can take you. He has the power to take you off, just like he did in Cape Coral with Patty Cummings when she didn't live in her district. The governor stepped in and he took her off. The governor he's done it with sheriffs across the state. When something happens, he has the power to just say you're off until this investigation is done. And so that is what Matt said yesterday. So I just want to be clear that Matt said he doesn't think there should be recalls, and the governor does have the power to remove anybody. He's got the ultimate say on all that.
And I don't know that I would ever want to go head to head with Matt Caldwell when it comes to Florida Constitution and what you can and can't do. That guy is an encyclopedia of knowledge.
No, we were trying to speculate about who might fill in for, unfortunately, the late Mike Greenwell, I think his district is like Alva in that area. Mm-hmm. And then as we're going home, Kim's like, what if maybe it's going to be Matt Caldwell? Because, he would be a great county rep, except he could appoint somebody that doesn't have to live in the district. But I guess eventually when you run, you have to live in the district, even though it's a countywide vote. But he would be a great county representative. The guy is so smart on the property tax thing.
Well, and he's born and raised here. Obviously, he cares about. But, the governor is very methodical, at least in what I've seen so far in his decision-making process. I mean, just look back when Commissioner Sandelli, nobody had heard of Commissioner Sandelli. And all of a sudden, Commissioner Sandelli was appointed and everybody was like, who?
Is there anything we could do about the TVs?
I know this ad is creeping me out.
It's like an infomercial for false teeth. It's just so disturbing. Isn't there a football game in England?
Yeah.
Oh, you're disgusting. And that's why the commercial's playing
like
up there, because you got false teeth out.
Yeah.
So back to the recall for a second, Dan. The other thing I have to ask you about this. Like, there's a hearing on Monday at 9:00. It's only for 15 minutes, which, in my opinion, I don't know anything. I didn't try to harass a judge or send emails to a judge. What I think, being that he only said it for 15 minutes, he's probably going to tell John King, we're not stopping the election. You see, John, the judge has ruled that John's petition is fatal, but that only means that it gets to continue because Bill Veach has he's appealed it, which means it has to go to the appeals court before anything can be resolved. And then you have this election on Tuesday in which John and Karen could be recalled and removed from their seats. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen at your M&P meeting, because I don't know if you need to vote on it, but if it's not Thursday, it'll be the second Tuesday if there is a recall. It could be that the recall dies, but if there is a recall and John feels like he won his case and doesn't leave his seat, what happens?
Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions about. I think first we got to get through Tuesday. It could be that neither one of them are recalled, and this whole conversation means nothing. We just move on like we normally do. But to your point, I think there are a lot of unanswered questions. I've had conversations with Becky and Nancy and Will this week about, we need to be prepared for every scenario, right? I mean, that's what our job is.
Okay, so when you guys are having the conversations, let's just talk in hypotheticals. Let's say it was a different community. I mean, there is a possibility that they don't leave their seat because Karen is on appeal. She's appealed the ruling against her. John feels like he won the case and Veach has appealed it. if they decide, if there is a recall and what have you heard from Will and from the attorney? What could happen?
Well, I think there's a lot of things. I mean, there's countless possibilities that can happen. I think this is a very crucial point that no matter what happens, you follow the letter of the law. Whatever the law dictates, you know.
What is the law?
Well, I think that's the lawyer's job to figure out exactly what the law is. I'd be lying if I told you what I knew. This is something that doesn't happen very often. It's very, very rare. Laws have changed since the last time it's happened. So it's going to take a lot of work by Nancy and Becky and their firm to make sure that they have the answers that are in place, no matter what scenario comes up. And I have all the confidence that they're going to be ready, no matter what happens, whatever scenario it is, and we'll react according to the law.
Yeah. I don't think there's any precedent yet that I've been able to find where it happens, because the recalls are they're so rare that they get to this point, and they're so rare that they succeed. And then you have actually the attorney that Bill Veach and Ray Murphy has. He was accused of embezzlement. The guy was accused of taking money. He went to trial and he won the case, but he was the mayor of Miami Shores at the time. So he was the mayor. He gets accused of embezzlement. They remove him. I think the governor removed him from a seat. Somehow he gets removed from his seat, and then he gets acquitted. And so now he's like, I'm really the mayor. I'm still the mayor. So he gets I guess he got put back as the mayor, but then he ran again and he lost. So, I mean, it's not like it's unprecedented. That's a little different. Nobody's being accused of embezzlement, but isn't it kind of weird that they happen to find an attorney who used to be the
many
mayor of
weird
Miami
twists and
Shores.
turns to the whole thing.
This whole thing is unfortunate
Bizarre.
and weird, but you know, and then you got to add in a year from now, less than a year from
Yeah.
now, there'll be another normal election. So
Yeah.
where there'll be a lot of things probably based on the Charter Review Commission. There's going to be a lot of potential changes that are going to happen at the next election through referendum,
Yeah.
both statewide and locally. So it's unprecedented times. It's
Yeah.
you know, I think
It's
like I said
unfortunate.
last week, I think everybody right now is just ready for Tuesday to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen on Monday. My gut tells me probably what you said.
Yeah.
I don't see the judge getting in the way of the voters at this point.
No, he made that pretty
whatever
clear.
happens with the appeal process going down the road, we'll find out, and how that plays into how the election turns out. We still don't know.
I think he made that pretty clear at the last hearing that he was not going to get in the way of the voters voting. And I mean, an election is you're going to have an election, and the results should be what the results. I mean, honestly, if we're being honest, and they're my friends, if they get recalled, they really should step aside until the courts take care of the rest. I mean, that would be the best thing for the community. Even though John feels like he's right, he might be right in the end, and he might get reinstated. But I mean, to put Nancy and Becky in that position to make a decision, and then if he doesn't leave, I mean, who removes? I mean, it's just going to be so awkward.
I don't know that there's so many possibilities that could happen. We won't know what's going to happen until the election is counted.
But do you know if it will be like, if there is a recall, have you been able to determine whether it'll be the M&P or the next meeting? Because I know you can't vote at the M&P, but there really is nothing for you to vote on.
Well, yeah, there is. Technically, the supervisor of elections certifies the election.
Right.
And I think it's 10 days. I don't want to speak
Yeah.
for Tommy, but I believe it's
Okay.
10 days they have to certify it. So it wouldn't be certified until
Okay.
our November 17th meeting
Okay.
from the supervisor of
That
elections.
clears it up then.
So on the 17th, we would then have to take a vote. I don't know if they
Gotcha.
call it recognizing. It's already been certified by the supervisor of intent, whatever the outcome is, then we have to take the vote like we have at every
Gotcha.
every election in the past. We have to vote to accept, I guess would be the best terminology for it. Someone please correct me if that's not the right word, but the results of the supervisor of elections findings and we'll have that vote
Yeah.
on the 17th.
If this guy's teeth fall out on the screen, I'm really going to freak out.
Yeah, it
What-
went from one extreme to the other.
They're showing a
Now we're at
service.
church.
It looks like a Catholic service, or the Book of Wisdom is coming
Book
up
of
next.
Wisdom, 319.
So,
yeah.
Wendy, the answer to your question is that if they are recalled and if it actually goes through as a recall, they can't run for, I believe, 2 years. So,
But yeah, in our charter, it says 1 year, but and that's maybe something the Charter Review Commission will look at. Currently, the verbiage in our charter says you can't run for at least a year after leaving office, but because and that made sense because we had back-to-back elections, remember, in
yeah,
2018 and 2019, and then in 2020, it changed to where it went every 4 years. So now it's every 2 years. So I don't know if that needs to be changed. It's just it says 1 year, but our elections will run every 2 years going forward.
Gotcha.
But I think there was something in the recall verbiage that it's
That's what I thought.
2 years that they
Yeah, it doesn't.
It could, well, if they were recalled, they wouldn't be eligible to run again until
Right.
2028.
All right, so we got Bonita Fish Company opening tomorrow, everybody. So
Yeah.
if you're
Another
That's
big, another one.
exciting.
The whales coming next. Is it
the
next
whales
week as
coming
well?
on the
Yeah.
14th, I think they're having like a
Soft
special
kind of,
event
yeah.
on the 7th, and are they doing a ribbon cutting on the Friday, and then
I
the
don't
big
know.
day's Saturday.
I've been trying to stay out of their way because they're moving fast at that
Yeah.
building,
Yeah.
and but I'll tell you, when you walk through, I did get kind of a sneak peek of the old Bonita Bills, and it's beautiful what they've done in there. I went there for an interview and I couldn't find the interviewer, but I got to look inside. They were doing some training with the staff, and it looks great. It still looks like
Yeah, it
the
looks the
heritage
same.
is still there. Everything looks fairly similar, just refreshed a little bit.
Yes.
And I know all the docks and the marina that they're putting in there is going to be a huge increase in bringing people over. That little wharf area is really great. I mean, you got 3 great restaurants over there run by great people, and anybody that lives here goes over the bridge knows it's packed all the time.
right.
Either walk, take your bike, or a golf cart.
Yeah,
and you can find a place to park.
I know some people were like, they were whining about how it wasn't going to be like the old days, but if you actually just
That's
go
what's
take a
gonna be the
walk
old
over
days.
there, it doesn't look that much different.
Right.
It just
No.
looks cleaner.
Yeah, the days of the $2.
Sorry to say that, but it does look
probably
nicer.
gone.
So,
It
and
does
that,
look nicer, and it'll be still a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
And everything is change is tough, and Anita said this to me a long time ago, and she's 100% correct. So I want to make sure she gets the credit for it. When I first came on council, we started talking about change, and this obviously before Hurricane Ian, and back when they were getting rid of the swing bridge in the late 70s and going to it's going to wreck Fort Myers Beach. Now we fight to protect the view as you come over. We
Yeah.
said, Pink Shell or Diamond Head's going to be the downfall of the island. Now we're fighting to protect that as the height limit. So or the litmus test, if you will, of what is acceptable, what's not acceptable, and why we became a town. So change is tough, but eventually people adapt to it. Some do, some don't. We all want to be back to where we were on September 27th, but the reality is it's just not going to happen. But how do we get to that level medium ground where I think everybody, and I think we've gotten much closer over the last 2 years, Ed, quite honestly. I think people who were hard, nothing can ever change, have come, and the people who thought we need to build, baby, build have come. And I think we're getting closer and closer to that middle ground of what people can live with. And you see it with some of the developments that are coming forward and some of the things that are being proposed. And I know residents, we want certain things, or we want to live within a certain boundary, if you will. And I think developers right now are really kind of, what is that boundary? And I challenge and I accept any developers, current or future, to come and sit down with us,
don't
and
fall
meet
down.
with us and talk to us. And not just us. When I say us, I don't mean council members. I mean the community, and find out really exactly what people. And I think if they do that, if they literally take that initiative to sit down with the public and have an open forum and let people talk, I think that developers will really benefit from that, because they'll be able to see, because nobody wants to go through litigation. Nobody wants to go and spend 10 years fighting over a project when they could have a project open in half the time and start earning income and a return on their investment much sooner. If it meets what they need and it meets what the community can live with, I think that is a good project. And I think the sooner we can get both sides in the same room, which we have done successfully in the past, or developers have done successfully in the past, the sooner we can do that, the sooner I think developers will feel comfortable with investing, and residents will feel comfortable in not having to fight against overdevelopment.
Can you shorten your answers a little bit? I mean,
Sure.
Jeepers creepers. That was like a 20-minute answer right there.
It's called
So
filibuster.
So I was at Cornerstone Resort yesterday, which is on the beach side, a little bit past Publix. The place looks unbelievable. If you're
Howie, he's over there.
is that Howie yelling
Yeah,
again?
he's out there.
He must have had a concussion when he got hit by the second
I
truck
know.
on his road
I
or
told him
something.
we need to get him a golf cart. So at least he's
He
got
rides-
4 wheels.
He rides around with an orange penny on now, so
Yeah.
people can see him. So the place looks great. The pool looks great. The pavers outside. I mean, they
What place? I'm sorry.
Cornerstone
Cornerstone.
Resort.
Oh, okay.
Rated RX.
They have 12 units. You can watch the walk around yesterday. The units are for rent. And what they were saying is, on the one side, what they were telling me was, on the one side, there was like 5 houses. On the other side, there was 4 or 5 houses. and they're all gone. But some of the people are deciding to rebuild, and the houses are now like 3 stories high, but they look great, and they're going to be there forever now. And on the other side of the street, you have houses that were knocked down on Dakota, and looks like it's close to Hibiscus. But I mean, it is taking a while, but that some of these houses look fabulous, and some of these condos, when they finally get open, look really great. And the south end of the island on Estero Boulevard looks really great.
Yeah, yesterday. I actually had someone stop in and was a resident of the island, and was talking. We had probably a good hour and a half conversation about when they were going through building their house, and it was before the storm, and before the storm, it looked like a very big house. But it was within its right to build, and they were saying that back then people were like, wow, that's a monstrosity, but didn't understand that based on the comp plan that was written way back in the day, that allowed them to build that. Right. But it was still the shock of seeing something new. And I think to your point, Ed, now what you're seeing is people are building back with their houses to what they can build by right, and it does look bigger. And that's been my whole point all along when I talk about infrastructure and all these other things that I think we're going to be dealing with down the road that nobody likes to talk to because it's what you can't see. Nobody wants to talk about, stormwater and things like that because it's not pretty and it's not something you can see. But as I've said for 3 years now, these 2-bedroom, 1-bath cottages are going to be replaced with 4 and 5 bedroom houses with 4 and 5 bathrooms. And you're going to have bigger families that are investing here, and you're going to have people coming, and it's going to be a different dynamic, which is going to put a strain on our infrastructure and our traffic and all the other things that we talk about. But it wasn't because of anything any of us did. It was because Mother Nature had other plans.
Yeah.
And it sped up what I think was happening already before the storm, as you were seeing people buying houses. Now it accelerated, and now you've kind of seen that market slow down a little bit. And now it's kind of gotten to the point where it seems like it's starting to go the other way again. I mean, I'm encouraged every day, Ed, when I go down the street and been starting to ride my bike again some more and seeing, I love when I get emails about construction noise and pilings going in, and I'm stuck behind it's every street, and that's how we recover as a community. Commercial development is an essential part of it, and that economic driver is essential. But so is having, I've said it all along. So is having residents. You can't go too far one way. You don't, in my opinion, I don't want to live, or I don't want this place to be something that is all about tourists and not about families. Otherwise, what are we all fighting for, right? And I think that we're doing that. I think, as I said earlier, both sides are kind of coming to that neutral ground where it's going to be a little bit different. It'll be acceptable. Every negotiation has a winner, no winners and no losers. You both win, you both lose. And I think we're really close to where that is. We just got to get everybody at the table together. And when I say everybody, I mean the people investing and the people who live here year round and the people that call this place home and eventually will call it home permanently. We need to get them all in the same room and sit down and have an honest discussion, an open discussion. And I think once that happens, you'll feel a lot of pressure come off of people. I think you'll see money commercially start flowing back in. I think you'll see residents getting behind projects versus opposing projects, but it starts with communication.
Wow, that answer was longer
That
than the
was
last
super
answer, so I
long.
appreciate you following along there. I think what you guys should do is
It's like I'm running for election or something. And I'm not running for anything.
That was
you
exhausting.
said you were on a job interview when you went to Bonita Bills. What was that? What was that about? I think what you guys should do, like after this whole recall thing is over, you should do like the Duck Dynasty. At the end of the Duck Dynasty, they would all get out at the picnic table by the water, and they'd have a big meal at the end of the day. And you could be at the head of the table, like what was it? What was the guy's name that was the head of that family? You remember that guy's name? Phil Robertson. Oh, the late Phil Robertson.
Well, we're really lucky that we have a real diverse group of people on the island. Those that have been super successful, those that maybe haven't been as successful, but are just as hardworking and have great ideas. Both sides have great ideas, and maybe both sides don't people that don't understand deep commercial finances need to learn. And I think people that are deep financial investors don't always see the realistic effect that will have on a community. And I think if you could get those people at the same time, and whenever I have conversations with people, I try to tell them, look at it as though this was your backyard, or look at it as though, this was your kid's backyard or somebody that you care about. How, would you look at this differently than just what is the end return on my investment? And I think when you have those conversations, it stops them a little bit and they understand it a little bit. As long as they understand that you're not, and I'm not trying to be long-winded, but as long as they understand that you're not I know.
You're not trying. You
I know.
sure are trying. So
But
let
as
me,
long as they understand that you're
yeah,
open
everybody
to
understands,
discussion.
Dan. Everybody understands. So
Well, you
the-
keep asking the questions. I just
no, I didn't even ask a question that last time. You just jumped into an answer. The most important question I have
I'm
for you
afraid
right
of her asking me a question.
The
not
most
you.
important question I have for you right now is what was the last time you two had a fight and how big was the fight? Like, what did you argue over that was like that didn't involve the dogs?
I will say, we don't really ever have, of
Like
course we have
fight
disagreements, but
fights,
we don't
yeah.
ever have like,
it's the same thing.
I'm going to sleep in the other room fights. We don't have anything like that. But we had one on the way here over something.
was it
very,
about?
Very, very small. It was insignificant.
Well,
it was-
explain it. What was it? Everybody wants to know now.
It
It was just day-to-day stuff.
It was just day-to-day
Yeah.
business stuff. It was
Like
just,
who yelled at who?
It wasn't a yelling.
No,
match.
Was there
no,
any
it was
curse words involved?
No.
It was a we're both very passionate people and we're both very strong-willed people.
Yeah.
And when you feel you have an opinion and your spouse has an opinion, we vocalize it, not
Yeah.
yell, but
Well,
and then
so
at
what
the
was
end of
the
the day, we
topic
both
about?
look at each other.
we
We
really don't.
literally, it started when
get
we
into
left the
yelling.
house. By the time we got here, we were talking about something completely different.
Yeah.
So, it was-
Completely different.
so we don't ever really fight. We don't ever.
Well, the way that you avoid getting kicked out of the bedroom to sleep on the couch is just sleep on the couch all the time. Then you never have to worry about it.
Usually, I end up there at 3 a.m. anyway because I can't sleep and I'm.
Yeah. So,
my brain doesn't shut off, so I'm always up anyway.
yeah.
Yeah,
You had-
it's more like, if I have to ask 15 times to have something done and I start to get a little aggravated, but
I'd say
it's not like he has anything better to do.
I would say the
I
biggest-
feel naggy when I'm like,
And I think every single person out here will get this analogy. And we joke about it all the time now. And it happened the other day. We had a friend of ours that had gotten some information that was shocking. And when he shared it with me,
well,
my
come
que-
on. You got to tell us
I'm
what
not
it
going
is.
to tell you who it is, and I'm not going to tell you what it was about. But
Was
I'll
it
tell you,
anything to do with the beach? Like
nothing to
with
do
the
with the beach.
Coconut
No, nothing to do-
Telegraph?
it was
Love
a personal thing in his life.
I see.
And he shared the information with me and a friend of mine who was in the room, and we looked at him and we're like, wow, sorry to hear that, and that was kind of where it was at. So when I shared the information with Megan, and I think we can all relate as men, it was, well, when did it happen? Who made the call? Do you know how long they've known? Why didn't they tell him
Yeah.
sooner? What's going to happen next?
Yeah.
I don't know. And
So
there was
he's getting divorced is what's happening.
no. It wasn't anything
No.
like that. It wasn't anything that serious. But it was a.
but
it
I
was
had
a.
questions.
But even the person that told me this was like, well,
yeah,
the person.
People love drama. That's
but
just
that's
the way
how
it
guys
is.
are. Guys, when guys go golfing, we talk about golf stuff. We don't talk about this. But and that's one of the things we talk about all the time. And I love my wife to death. But sometimes it's like, honey, I don't know. And
Yeah.
there's a comedian that I've talked about before that has said, I just got a call from Bill. Bob's in the hospital. Well, what happened? I don't know. I just got a call from Bill. It said Bob was in the hospital. Well, did he crash? I don't know. I got a call from
All
Bob.
right, we know where
you know
this
what I
is
mean?
going.
So
But
it was
I feel
like,
like
it was the same
if you're
thing.
going to tell me these things, you should know that I am going to be asking the questions.
But that's
so
not
you
how
should
guys
be
operate,
asking
right?
The questions first.
So this is our argument, right? This is how we argue. It's like, well, guys aren't like, we're just like, dude, sorry if there's anything to do.
Yeah.
Help, great.
It's so funny you say that because there was this group of people on Cape Coral in Cape Coral that really we got into our show got into a fight with them and it was going back. We were battling with them. So we invited them on the show because it would be good for the show. So they show up to the restaurant. They have 50, 60 people in the audience and they're yelling at us and they're trying to grab the microphone out of our hands. And one guy sits down and the lady sits down and she says to me, F you, like as she's sitting and I'm like, this is like radio gold, right? And so the show's over. They all leave, and I call the guy, and the next day I say, hey, let's have a truce, okay? And so he's like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. And that's just the way it goes, It's like so we don't argue anymore.
Okay. Usually if guys have disagreements, it usually ends with somebody getting hurt, right? But guys don't have disagreements. We're just like, yeah.
No, I got hurt a lot when I was lipping off in younger years. So
What do you mean your mouth checks your body couldn't cash it?
yeah. So if you guys, I got bored yesterday after I picked up all the what outside the house from the dogs, and I started watching Netflix, and I watched the Philadelphia Mob. If you guys watched the Philadelphia Mob thing, which was funny, and then after that, the thing that I see Charlie Sheen's face come up on the screen. Has anybody watched that documentary about
I've
Charlie
watched it,
Sheen?
yeah.
Wow, that is some crazy stuff. So if you're bored and you have nothing else to do,
The guy's lived a life.
yeah, she just went in the house. Kim just went in the house and said, I can't watch this narcissist. And she went in the house. And of course, she was just screaming through the reel. So she finds whatever baby pictures here and there. So
That's funny that you brought that up because we're the same way. you talk like she likes all that drama stuff with it when it comes to like murder mysteries and solving cases. And me, when I watch TV, I literally just want my brain to shut off. I don't want to think. I just want to, for 2 hours, if I'm watching a movie, not have to think about, I wonder who did it. So when we have those movies, like she likes them, I can't stand them. The movies or the shows where they give you what's going on currently, and then they jump back 10 years, and then they jump forward 16 years, and then they go back, and then they
that's
get
so confusing.
And I'm like, now I have to think. I want to watch this to not think. I think all the time. This literally is my like. I mean, I can multitask, but like I can't. I want to watch it, completely forget about it, and literally my brain forgets movies as fast as I watch it. A Few Good Men is my favorite movie ever. I've probably watched it 100
with the
times.
Tom Cruise thing.
No, it's probably my favorite movie of all time. I've watched it 1,000 times, and I can quote like one section of it.
Yeah.
That everybody can quote, but I could watch that every other week, and it'd be like, oh, I forgot about that, or I forgot about that. Peaky Blinders is another one. Great show. Can't understand them. They got marbles in there.
This is why Dan's a great guest. So is Megan, but this is why Dan's a great guest. It's 10 minutes to 11 o'clock. And we talked about one issue that has to do with the beach. And I try and go, I love everybody in the town council right now, but I try and figure out who else can you do this with every single week. I don't know that it would be possible. And I don't know that this is entertaining in any way. Maybe it's totally boring to people, but it's entertaining to me. So speaking of entertaining, now you have to go through 9 traffic lights to get on and off the bridge, which is fine. They seem to be working because there's no traffic yet. But the thing that was totally confusing was if you try and walk from Margaritaville to Mr. Waves, you have to press like 17 different buttons. And then by the time you get to, I know this isn't your problem, but I mean, I think this is going to be an issue.
It's
when
confusing.
you get to almost the last button, and then you look over at Mr. Waves, people are walking across the street when there's no walk.
They're just like walking anywhere they want.
So, I mean, and there's no landscaping. The landscaping, the state said the landscaping was going to stop people from walking across that area there. And I'm like, well, maybe, but you have like 9 different buttons to press. You can almost get killed trying to figure out which button to press next.
There's a lot of crosswalks there. And it's not straight either. There's a lot of zigzagging. And, I think once the plantings are in there, from what I've noticed, and I go over the bridge every single day, a couple times a day, I see the people crossing, and I see the things, and I notice a couple things here and there. Obviously the crosswalks, but from what I've noticed, most people are adhering to the crosswalk. They're waiting. They're trying. Now we're not in season yet. Right. We're not in March where everybody's going to go wherever they want to go. I don't know how soon they're going to have the vegetation planted
next year,
but I think once that's all done,
that's the truth. That's what the state told me.
Anyway. I certainly hope it increases. The traffic flow is the ultimate goal here, and if that works,
we won't know till
we won't know. But I'm willing to give it a chance. We were obviously, the town was very vocal against the crosswalks
and you were right.
Design. And
here's the thing that didn't make any sense. Like you had one crosswalk, like over by a little bit past La Ola. It seemed to work fine. You had one light there that with a crossing guard, you could actually walk 30 people over at the same time. People, you got to inconvenience people a little bit, and they did, and they kept them there, and the traffic kept flowing. Now it really is willy-nilly.
Well, what I think we're going to see in season is when the lights are all aligned and they shut off, people will go through the crosswalk, but you're going to see people crossing at the crosswalk and that aren't maybe all the way to the crosswalk yet, and they're going to see the traffic is stop going both directions.
Yeah,
and they're going to just dart across because they want to get across without even waiting for the next one. I think that's.
Or you're going to see what we've always seen on Fort Myers Beach for decades. A car is going to see a person and try and be nice and let the person get across during a green light, and that happens.
Yeah,
it still happens.
You can only do. I mean, you can continue to educate. The state law says you have to stop for someone in the crosswalk, not someone waiting for the crosswalk. So if they're in the crosswalk, you have to yield to them. But if they're on the sidewalk, you have the right of way, and unless they step into the sidewalk. And people try to be nice. To your point, they want to, but now you're stopping traffic for every single person, and that's always been the issue that I've noticed even since before the storm. When you had in front of the old Yo Taco, and then you had Crescent, and then you had where you were talking about at the base of when you had all these areas that people could cross. You could see it drove me nuts. I always said this to Roger. I'm like, Roger, this is something that seems very easy to manage. You have people at all 3 locations. You can see each other. You can look at each other, go, stop. Okay. Stop the traffic. Let's go. go. Okay, now we let the cars go. But it never. And we actually did a test a while back. Remember, it was before COVID, where we actually had we had people directing traffic at the Yo Taco, and traffic was moving because now they're not just getting one person coming at a time. There was actually someone that was stopping, and it worked. And then COVID came and it got away. But it drove me nuts because to me, it's at least a solution you could have tried to see if it makes it better. Wouldn't fix everything, but instead of having to stop every 2 seconds for someone crossing to get a taco, you know.
So the Estero Boulevard, speaking of slowing traffic down, you said you were going to try and get them to start Estero Boulevard on the south. I think it was you on the south end. Are they? Do you know where they're going to start? They are going to repair.
No, I have not had a chance to connect with Commissioner Maleka about talking about that to find out. Maybe that's what their plan is. I don't know, but to me, it would make sense if you're going to start this month to redo Estero Boulevard and the sidewalks and stuff. Start on the south end where the lights. I don't know. We don't want to talk about lights. But this week, FWC is coming down on Tuesday. I believe it's confirmed on Tuesday to look at the first section on the south end of the island to give the thumbs up to be able to start seeing it come on. So hopefully we'll get to see some lights this week actually turn on. You've seen some of the heads going on the poles as you come up the north from the south end of the island. So we have to get the blessing, or I shouldn't say we, but the project has to get the blessing of FWC to say we're okay with the lights, we're okay with the shielding, we're okay with the testing. Go ahead and flip the switch. So this week is the week to start seeing it.
Megan,
Exciting.
Do you have any questions for the mayor?
When are we going boating?
Thanks, Ed.
Wait, I couldn't believe what she said. I don't know if she said it yesterday. She said you guys haven't been on the boat in 2 years.
A year.
Is that true?
It's been sitting on our trailer in our front yard.
Dan, that's total bullshit, man. Take your wife boating.
I work 7 days a week, believe it or not. So it's not like I have time to
totally
just, and I got to be careful.
No, you don't. Nobody's watching.
I think he means me.
No. It's difficult. Anybody that has a boat that's on a trailer and you only have potentially 1 day to enjoy it, it is a lot of work to take it to a boat ramp, take it out, go boating for the day with all your friends who are having fun, and you have to be the responsible captain, and then you come back, and then you got to put it on the trailer, bring it back, clean it, cover it. It's a lot of work for a 24-hour period. We don't have a boat sitting in a boatyard somewhere where we can just call up, say, have it in the water, and then they take care of it. I'd love to do that.
I got people like that all the time.
It's not because, I got my captain's license for a reason. I love the water. I love to be on the water. We're just
get out there more. You only live once, Dan.
I have to work 7 days a week, so that's where I'm at.
Where are you folks from? I don't recognize. Where are you guys from? San Diego. Wow. And you're here for how long? A week. Where do you stay?
A week.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Thank you guys for coming. In case you didn't know, we interview the mayor here every Sunday. That's why we're inconveniencing your lunch right now.
We're trying to be nice to her, but she's
and they're married. They're married. They just got married last weekend. Right here on the yes.
I thought if I could marry the mayor, why not?
So, are there any updates that you want to give the people, your people, Dan? Would you like to be the mayor again for another year? I know that's coming up next month.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I've said it before. If the council feels I'm doing a good job and they want me to continue doing it, I will be happy to do it. And when I answered that way to Howie in typical Howie fashion, he's like, "But do you want to be the mayor?" Yeah, I do. I want to finish what I've started. When I say I mean the council, not myself. But it takes a long time to build relationships and keep those relationships and be able to have people answer the phone when you call. Not that anybody couldn't do that, but I feel that this staff and this council have worked very hard to build that relationship. And if they want me to be the tip of the spear, I'll continue to do it.
Would you like to see the Charter Review Commission come back with a recommendation that the town council gets paid more money?
I mean, if that's what they deem is important.
I asked you though.
If it comes back before us, we will talk about it.
Would you approve it if they came back with 35,000?
I don't know. I can't. I can't talk about things that we're going to have to vote on. So.
Well, you don't know that you're going to have to vote on a salary increase.
But I don't know that we're
not. But you are allowed to talk about it until you reasonably know that it will come up for a vote. Would you like to make more money?
I reasonably know that there is a lot.
If you say no, you don't like to make more money. I know you're full of crap because everybody wants to make more money, right?
Everybody would love to make more money.
Megan, let me ask you a question.
I will say this. I think having the discussion is important, because if you want to attract good candidates, and if you
Agreed.
want to attract
Yeah.
people who are willing to put in the time and effort, you know, you don't want to do it for free.
Yeah, just
And I know
Yeah.
Sanibel does it for free, and God bless them, but not everybody is economically at a point where they can do the job.
Do
And
that.
and if you really want to do this job right, in my opinion, it's a full-time job. And you may not be in the office full-time, but it doesn't mean you're not going to meetings, or you're not going and talking to representatives, or you're not, you know, lobbying on your town's behalf for certain things. So it is a full-time job. I would certainly be open to the discussion. The Charter Commission will make their recommendation.
what is the salary now?
For the mayor, it's 19,200.
Just so you all know, it's 19,000.
And council members, it's 16,800.
16,000. So I mean, it's at least a $30,000. I mean, that's embarrassing too.
And,
but
and there was just a change. So in full transparency, you are eligible if you want to take health benefits. You can take health benefits.
all right,
As
there's something
any-
to that.
Recent.
And as
Yeah.
any, and it, I think if you go back and look at the charter, and someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the charter actually stated that council members would be eligible for the same cost of living increase that employees receive,
Yeah.
but that has never happened. And I'm not saying it should or shouldn't. I'm just saying that if you look at it, I think it was thought back in the past that this, you know, as it evolves, now nobody expected a category 4 or
Yeah, I
5
think you guys
hurricane.
are a lot more full time after Hurricane Ian than maybe
Oh,
before
for sure.
Hurricane Ian.
And it's, you know, and we've been fortunate enough to have a good 3-4 town managers in place, and now Will's got that seat.
Yeah.
We're in good hands, where that takes a lot of pressure off of council members. We are obviously here as information and what, you know, historical knowledge and things like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, his job is to run the town. Our job is to make sure that we get all the support we can get from outside of the town to help us succeed. So it's literally two completely separate things, but Will is excellent at doing that as well. He's been through all this. He's talked to people much farther up the food chain than any of us will ever be. So he gets it, but it's a team. It really is a team effort.
When you see your town manager dressed up in a Halloween costume, the way that he got dressed up, you know you're motivating.
I don't know that I've seen that.
Yeah,
No,
you
it
know
was
you're
great.
motivating the
Really
staff.
great. Yeah.
It looked like the staff had a great time at whatever
Yeah.
Halloween
They
event.
really decorated
that they had on.
went
They
all
always
out.
they always go. Yeah, every year they usually have, or at least before the storm, they would have a decorate your office, and you would have to vote. And you know, Amy Baker, she always goes all
Oh,
out.
good.
And I wasn't able to be there, unfortunately, but I was there signing checks early in the morning and got to see all the doors. And you know, I won't say who I voted for, but there was one clear winner in my opinion. They also this week had the internal ribbon cutting, which I think was a really good move by Will to be able to put that together for the staff, because they're the ones who really have suffered the most when it comes to, you know, not having a place to work out of, still showing up every day, and they're the ones that have really seen us through and kept the ship going forward. So I'm really glad that he was able to do that and have kind of that internal ribbon cutting, because it means a lot to the staff. It shows he cares about the staff. It shows that he's taken on, you know, the staff that he didn't necessarily put in place, but he's very good about figuring out strengths and weaknesses of people, at least what I've noticed so far, and putting him in the right position to succeed. But that comes with his background.
And I heard your PIO is leaving. Is that true?
I heard that rumor. Yes.
And she took on, it sounds like a great job, assistant manager somewhere in a different city.
That's the rumor that I've heard. Yes. I don't know if anything's been confirmed, but yeah, I've heard
Okay.
that rumor as well.
All right. So the other question I have for you is, who would you like to be your vice mayor now that Jim Adderholt has decided he does not want to be the vice mayor, wants somebody else to do the job? Who would you choose if you
I
could?
will find out on the 17th.
Come on,
We'll find out
man.
on the 17th.
Who would be the best vice mayor for you, Dan?
I think everybody's a good vice mayor. I think
Sure.
everybody. I mean, I think people forget that mayor and vice mayor in our form of government,
Yeah.
it's ceremonial. It doesn't give you any more power. It doesn't give you. It's not a strong mayor form of government. It is ceremonial. You are the one that, you know, whether you're the mayor or the vice mayor, you're the one that's taking the thousands of requests for media interviews, and you know, which it's just and that's probably why the compensation is a little bit different, simply because you're doing more non-decision making stuff, but your job is to really make sure that you're showing everybody who Fort Myers Beach is, and you're hopefully carrying yourself in a manner that that people want to be involved and they want to do things on Fort Myers Beach. And so we'll see what happens on the 17th. I don't know, Ed.
Yeah, I think anybody will be great. They're all
They're all good. What I find reassuring is when I hear from, the only two people that we really have the ability to hire and fire are the town manager and the town attorney. And when you hear from town attorneys that have been, now Will is new to this, so he hasn't, he's dealt with things that are different than town government, but he hasn't dealt with working with a council that, oversees and essentially makes the policy decisions that he then implements. But Nancy and Becky they've worked with many municipalities. And when I hear them say, we are really fortunate that we have a council, you guys obviously have a lot of issues that you're going through, but you're all respectful. You're not fighting each other. You may disagree with votes here and there. When I hear that, that tells me that we're doing the right thing and that we're showing people who Fort Myers Beach maybe is. Yes, we have a couple differences of agreement here or there, but we're all going for the same goal. And to hear that from people who that work for us, that have worked in other communities and still work in other communities, that tells you that, and they've had dysfunctional councils before. I don't think we have a dysfunctional council.
No, not at all.
I think we've got a good council that we all like each other. We all work together. We all live together.
Yeah.
Votes go the way they go, but it's never a heated thing. It's never where you've seen heated arguments in the past. So I think we're really fortunate that we have people, one, that are willing to step up and do the job, and two, willing to do the job even in the, with what you step up to do. And sometimes it can get very hairy and sometimes people can get very mean, but that's what you signed up for. And as long as you keep a civil head on your shoulder, I think you're going to be fine. And we're lucky we have that.
So tomorrow's town council meeting looks pretty boring. Actually, I'm sorry to say that. It doesn't look like there's any exciting issues on like development issues or anything.
Yeah.
There is an unfortunate situation on the south end where two neighbors are fighting with each other over a pool. And it looks like you guys are going to revoke the pool. The lady that got approved for a pool, you're going to revoke their setback ordinance that you approved because apparently the surveyor was nefarious or something and gave you bad numbers. And so I actually reached out to the lady. I said, hey, you guys still put, I mean, this is how boring the meeting is tomorrow. Sorry. I'm sure she really wants to have a pool, but her and her next door neighbor are like fighting. They're having this huge fight. And they now
I think the pool is completed actually. I think it's
is
being used. So but it's still, I don't know that we're going to hear that tomorrow. I think there's still some information that needs to be reviewed. So I wouldn't be shocked if that gets continued.
Okay.
To be honest with you.
It's just too bad that when you live, I mean, we're so lucky in Gateway, like we have no neighbors. Basically all our neighbors have pretty much died, which will be us soon too. And so we have empty houses around us. I mean, that's the best kind of neighbor you can have. It's a dead one. I mean, not in the house or anything, but they're so quiet when they're not alive. And so now I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, then when you're having fights with your neighbors, it's like, it's just so uncomfortable when you're trying to, just live your life in a house. And I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong. It's just saying that when you fight over, I think the problem was the neighbor didn't want the pool to be elevated 3 feet. So they have been fighting it for like years now. It's just like, how can you live next door to somebody when you have to, it's just a bizarre thing where,
unfortunately not all neighbors get along.
I know.
And, town doesn't get involved in civil matters, but this isn't a civil matter. This is
the setback
before
matter
us at some point. Other than that, I think the big thing on the agenda for tomorrow is obviously the second reading of what potentially could happen at the Beach Baptist property.
Yeah.
So that's the second reading. So that'll be.
You think was there any changes from the first one, major changes, or you think it's because you voted yes to get it to the second reading?
Yeah, I think there's still a couple questions that I have that we'll bring up tomorrow, but I think they address some of it. We'll get the answers tomorrow.
If you see from 9 to 9:15, if you're watching the meeting tomorrow and you see anybody looking at their phones on the council, it's probably going to be trying to see what happened with the judge in that. Dan never does that. He never looks at his phone. He's so focused on everybody in the audience there. So a lot of stuff is happening tomorrow and this week. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on, ribbon cuttings and meetings and things like that. So
yeah, every week's a busy week, which good.
Next 2 months.
It's
talk about the parade.
Softball.
Yeah, and softball, the
Nobody.
bike parade. Yeah, the bike parade's coming up. It's December 20th. It's the same thing. Megan and I and a friend of ours started, it's the 9th year now, something like that.
You have all the sponsors, or you still need a sponsor?
Well, we will always take more sponsors. Anything you sponsor at this point will go to buying unwrapped toys for the kids. But yes, we have officially received confirmation. We haven't received all the checks yet, but we've received confirmation that we've got enough money to cover all the expenses for the event, which is great. So thank you. Once I have all the final sponsors, I'll certainly make a post of that. And if you would share it, that would be great. But essentially what it is we started it back 2016-ish, where we got together on some bikes and we just decided to ride up and down every street and sing Christmas carols and people would come out and it kind of grew.
Yeah.
And we always really enjoyed riding through Red Coconut because the people that were camping had no idea it was coming. And we would go up and down through there and then we'd go down a couple side streets and then it kind of got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think I told the story before. We were going around Palermo Circle once and a sheriff's deputy car come down Palermo Circle and we had stopped. Someone had set up an area for refreshments for everybody on their bike in the circle. So we stopped for refreshments and everybody's, music's playing. We're all having a good time. And, it's after daylight savings. So it's only like 7:00, whatever. And we got the music playing and everybody's dancing, having a good time. And the sheriff's deputy comes down the street, turns the lights on, and someone's yelling, Santa, we need you up here. I turn around like, oh no. And the car pulls up and the PA comes on and they start playing Christmas music. I'm like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
So we're good. So after that, I thought, well, maybe we need to start getting a police escort, so we're not blocking the roads. So then we did that. And now we've kind of moved it. It's kind of evolved. Last year was the first year we tried to take it a little bit bigger and maybe make a purpose out of it other than just, no structure. So last year we decided 4 to 6 o'clock here at Bayside Park, we would have a band that would come in and play. We'd all kind of gather around here with our bikes, skateboards, golf carts, whatever you want. It's kind of evolved from a bike. We encourage you to and so it's 4 to 6, and then from there we'll take off on our bikes. We're going to head down Estero Boulevard to Sandy Bottoms this year, and that will be the turnaround spot where you can stop and have some holiday cheer and use the restroom or do what you need to do. And then we'll come back up Estero Boulevard, down Crescent, pull into Margaritaville where the final show will be from 7:30 to 10 with Ben Allen. If you haven't had a chance to see Ben Allen, I really encourage you to go look at his videos. He's Southwest Florida. He's very, very good. Last year, it was super cold. He came out and his band played from 7:30 to 10 and did not stop the entire time.
Yeah, and one of the things to remember is I think Margaritaville watched the bike. So
they did.
One of the things, just
so
remember
they pull it
that
into their loading docks there. So your bikes, your golf carts, all that stuff is safe.
So I had a question for you about the bike parade. So the first time I did it, we were going up and down the Red Coconut neighborhood, and people were out on their, they were out on their porches and they were, celebrating and cheering. So my question is, a couple of years from now, when we go through the Red Coconut neighborhood, are we going to be allowed to put our bikes on the elevator and go up the entire 17 stories so we can see all around us on our bicycles?
To be determined. So when you go back and park your bikes in the Margaritaville loading dock area, they keep it. You go upstairs to the terrace where Ben Allen, like I said, will play from 7:30 to 10. It's really, last year was really fun. It was cold, but that's where we encourage everybody wear costumes. I mean, you'll see Santa Claus,
people are getting
Mrs.
more and
Claus,
more creative.
and you'll see people are getting super creative. We always have a Grinch that shows up on a big wheel pedal bike. I mean, you see the Abominable Snowman, you see all kinds of things. This year, the band that will be playing, if you haven't had a chance to watch them, it's called American Jones. They're a really, really good band. They've been gracious enough to come down and play from 4 to 6. So hopefully it'll be a little bit bigger this year. There'll be a story coming out in, I just forgot the name of our magazine. Dawn Magazine.
Island
Life. Thank you. There'll be an article coming out here next month in that. Gary Moody sat down with me for a little bit.
Love Gary.
So yeah, Gary's a great guy, super good guy. He did a great article. So again, it's December 20th from 4 o'clock till 10 o'clock. You don't have to come right at 4. You can come anytime between 4 and 6. We'll be right here at Bayside Park, having a good time. Come dressed as your best costume. It's always fun, especially if it's cold, to have a nice warm costume. Last year was the first year I actually enjoyed being dressed in a really hot red costume. but it's always fun. And at the end of the day, we raise a lot of toys for the kids. Last year we raised so many toys. Last year we had an issue with distributing them.
Yeah.
We were just filling them up. And Dawn Miller from Sandy Bottoms is doing a toy drive. So we're going to kind of work together to do it. They've been great with wanting to work with us. So they recently came on as a sponsor to help cover the cost for Ben Allen. So
dude, your answers are way too long. It's
He's
like,
like,
come on.
I gave him coffee this
Jeepers
morning.
creepers.
We now
I don't
know
drink coffee.
no
Do you guys-
coffee.
Is this setup better than the other setup, or should we go back to the table? I mean, the only problem I have with the setup is the seats are so sore. I'm getting like it's really starting to hurt my. If I get a cushion, it might be better. So
get
I mean,
yourself
you got a little more cushion than I got on the
Oh,
behind. So
Pumpkin, you can go and get yourself a cushion.
does anybody have
What
any
I should say
questions for
is
the mayor?
Kim
Anybody
can go get you a cushion.
want to ask any questions for the mayor? Anybody?
Nobody
Any final updates that I didn't ask about or didn't know about? There's always behind the scenes stuff at City Hall that you never share with us. So is there anything you want?
Nothing. I mean, we've been having good conversations with the county about some things that we're looking at trying to do down here, and that sounds like it's moving forward. So as soon as we have some real information, I can't wait to share some of that. I think it'll be fun and exciting. So yeah, there's always things that are going on in the background, but until you know things are for sure, we don't have any update. I know people have asked about the FEMA thing. The government shut down, so we
Next
don't really
answer.
have a lot of
Next answer.
updates.
Next answer.
Well, what's your question? You don't have any questions. I mean,
No, what are you working on with the county?
well, you'll find out when we know
All
what's going to happen.
Megan, any final questions for the love of your life?
No.
All right.
I know if I ask him to do stuff at home, he'll ignore me. So
Yeah. She's like, honey, can I? Is anybody else wives like this? And I love my wife.
Oh boy.
No, this is great. It's because I know what she's doing, and she knows I know what she's doing, but she does it anyway. Instead of saying, "I want you to hang this picture," it'll be,
Wouldn't this picture look nice right
no.
here?
She'll say like, maybe my honey will find it in his heart to bring the drill home from work so that he can hang this
Oh.
picture for me.
I
Instead
never
of
get
saying,
the honey
but
thing.
Hang
see,
the
here's
picture.
what happens. If I ask 10 times and it's still not done, and then I ask directly the 11th time, now I'm nagging you to get it done.
I've never
But if
used
you
the
had
nagging
just
word,
done
but-
it the first time, you wouldn't have a naggy wife.
Yeah.
Now let's flip the roles.
Yeah.
Now let's flip the roles.
You guys
And-
need to
and-
start your own podcast, by the way. So
you asked for it. You set this up. Not me.
the only thing I'll add to that is Kim knows the only way that picture's getting on the wall if she does it herself, especially if she wants it to be straight, not crooked. So it
Well,
gets done right
and
away.
You know what's funny is men are trainable. We'll be the first thing. We
I don't think
we're
I'm trainable
trainable.
right now.
but sometimes it doesn't work in your favor because
Yeah.
when you train us, we learn your habits and then we just turn them around on you. Like the other day, I sent her something on some meal of some sort that looked really good, and I sent it to her, and I'm like, "We should make this," and she replies back, "Ha ha ha! Does that mean I should make
That's
this?"
exactly what
I
that
don't know
means.
what you're talking about, honey.
All right. Well,
So
Megan,
we learn. We are adaptable.
thank you for filling in for Kim, and Dan, thank you for everything you've done, and congratulations on being voted the mayor for the next year by our audience here.
There it is. Yeah, thanks.
Big hand for the
Thanks,
mayor,
guys.
everybody. Thank you all. And thank you to the Fort Myers Beach Fire District for their quick response today. And hopefully John is okay. It looked like he was okay. He was just getting checked out. And everybody is safe on the island. The incident this morning was kind of contained, if you know what I mean. It's not something people report on at this point. So just want everybody to know that everyone on the island is safe. And I want everybody to know who our sponsors are. If you watched the walk around yesterday, you saw us walking around Cornerstone Beach Resort. They're located at 5480 Estero Boulevard. They specialize in taking care of their guests personally. They have a spectacular view. Every single unit, all 12 units, have a view of the Gulf of America. And so they have all new furniture. They have all new lanais. It's a freshly painted building, parking right out front. The elevators work, so you don't have to walk up very high. I mean, it really is nice. You should go check it out if you want to stay on the beach. It's right a little bit past Publix, too. So you can walk to Publix. It's quiet. Or you could drive down to Crazy Town down here where all the activity is. It's not too far from here. You can rent a golf cart from Dan and have a golf cart and ride it down here. Island carts. And he didn't pay for that either. He just gets free advertising all the time. To reserve a condo at Cornerstone, call 239-463-5778. That's 239-463-5778. Thank you to Cornerstone. And, of course, one of the most popular places to eat on Fort Myers Beach is Mom's. Mom's Home Cooking and Heavenly Biscuit have been making the world a better place, one tummy at a time, for over 25 years. They serve breakfast, lunch, and treats like the world-famous cinnamon rolls. Has anyone ever had a cinnamon roll from Mom's? It's the only thing you can eat that entire day, unless you're going to run 9 miles after you eat it, but it's so delicious. She's over in the food truck at 2450 Estero Boulevard. They're open 7:30 until 1 o'clock. And they are closed on Monday so she can relax, put her feet up, and make more cinnamon rolls. You can give Heather a call on her cell phone right now and send your cinnamon roll order in at 785-0707. That's 239-785-0707. Thank you all for coming to Fort Myers Beach. It's a lovely day on the beach. And we hope to see you again next week. And at the ribbon cutting at where are we? Bonita Fish Company tomorrow. And then in 2 weeks at the Whale. Bye-bye.